There is Will there on a beautiful sunny afternoon in a beautiful property in El Salvador, and we're going to talk about how to move to El Salvador and buy property down there. Hi, Will. How you doing, man?
Hey Dick, I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I know that this is confidential information and you can't, I don't know the details. I don't know who it is, but I heard that someone from Future Forecasting, one of our subscribers, did a self-directed IRA with you recently.
Several
Yeah.
have.
Now, I don't know
Yep.
who it is or how much or any details, just somebody. And I just want to say that if they did and they bought cryptos, then they've just assured their financial future. And like they probably did really well. If they did it in the last month, they're looking at their portfolio today going, thank you, Will there. So
We've had your friends and clients and subscribers for years now, coming in and yeah, I mean the folks who've gotten into Bitcoin and cryptos at the right prices, just even over time, right? You stretch it out several years, they've done quite well. Today we're flirting with $50,000 Bitcoin, yay.
there was a lady who got a hold of me about 3 years ago and said, I just took everything out of my 401k that I worked my life for. I have a daughter and I put it all in cryptos with Will there. And I was like, oh, I mean, I knew it was a good move, but it just takes my breath away I don't give financial advice, but it kind of is information that is sort of kind of, she acted on the information I gave, but she bought Bitcoin at about 10,000. So today she's secured her future for her and her
Yep.
daughter. So very good. Okay. That's not what we're talking about today. Will there, perpetual assets, he can set you up with a self-directed IRA and just give him a call at Perpetual Assets. But you're also getting into property down in El Salvador?
Yes, yes, we discovered the El Salvador. It kind of hit the map a couple of years ago when the president made Bitcoin legal tender.
Hmm.
It hit our map anyway, our community, I should say, all the freedom lovers and Bitcoiners and gold and silver people and everything, right? So, we as soon as we came down, it's a renaissance. I don't, it's gold rush 2.0. Some people talk of it as going to be the next Dubai or Singapore, which is interesting because I remember studying Dubai in college 20 some odd years ago in international business, and it was sand. It was a desert. It was nothing. It was like the initial stages of planning for
Yeah.
Dubai, and now look at it, the richest city in the world, arguably. um, and that was built. Singapore as well. Singapore took, however, 40 years. Dubai did it in 20. Maybe El Salvador does it in 10. I don't know. At the pace that they're going down here, you won't recognize the place in 5 or 10 years. So yeah, we jumped in with both feet. We fell in love. I mean, I've toured, Mexico, Costa Rica, traveled a lot, and love Latin America, and settled on a place here. And we've started. I have a real estate background from a past life, actually kind of similar, selling resort real estate. So we've jumped into that here, and we've got a lot of clients. There's a lot of interest, uh, in the community. A lot of, as the Bitcoin buzz gets out there. I've watched this country in the last year. I watched Bitcoin Twitter. Okay, I have all the Bitcoiners that I follow on Twitter all over the world. I watched Bitcoin Twitter conform into El Salvador Bitcoin Twitter in the last year, really after starting about in November, when the Adopting Bitcoin conference was here, and about 1,000 Bitcoiners came in from all over the world. And now it's just, so people are coming down. It's a property here. You have full allodial title as a gringo, so you can actually own this. You go to the central title registry, and mine and Gus's name is on this place, right? Unlike Mexico and a lot of other places, it's really difficult to do. So they're really friendly. They're welcoming to foreign investment. on the local level too. We're very well received by the locals. So a lot of folks are coming down to maybe pick up an Airbnb, a place they can come stay when they want to use it, rental income when they're not. Some folks, there's all types of options, right? But some people are moving.
Is there a big community of expats down there that you socialize with and know and hang out with?
Yes. Yeah, there's a very active Facebook group, Expats of El Salvador, that has a wealth of information on it. And that's got like 13,000 people in it, I think. This area specifically where we are, the core surf city, they call it, it's basically a string of beach towns just south of the capital city, San Salvador, which is up in the mountains. We're just 30 minutes south of that. This string of beach towns is where a lot of the expats are, Bitcoin Beach especially, which is about 15, 20 minutes down the road from us, the famed Bitcoin Beach, where they started the sort of grassroots community Bitcoin infrastructure. And that was what actually they showed the president. The president looked at that and then adopted Bitcoin nationally. There is a good expat population down here. Yes.
What are the prices like? What does it cost to get a nice home or a nice condo, like a 2-3 bedroom place that's secure and comfortable? How does it compare to? I'm sure it's a lot cheaper than the U.S., but what are the prices like?
You can get into in this area, which is, if you go off the beaten path, you can get stuff quite cheap.
Oh, out in the jungle, I'm sure you could get something real cheap, but
even an hour, even not too far away. In fact, there's some beach towns on the other side of La Libertad, which is a little, it's a little off the beaten path, but you can get a beachfront here in this area. It's almost impossible to even find a beachfront anymore. You can find a lot over here, and there's a little mini hotel right there, but there's not much in this surf city strand of beach towns. But if you go over a little ways off the beaten path, half an hour from here, not even, you can get into you can get a half acre, which is what this place is, beachfront with a little house on it. Probably needs renovations. Couple little casitas. We have a few casitas here. For $500K, that's a half an acre beachfront. You can get like a tenth of an acre beachfront with a small little house for like $300K. In this area, off the beach, walking distance or ocean view up on the hilltops, which is beautiful, you can get a lovely 2-3 bedroom house with a pool, and for $250, $300K. So it is affordable.
What's the infrastructure like in that? And obviously you have good Wi-Fi and good computer, because you're talking to me on Zoom live, and I can see the beautiful scenery behind you, but like, are there Safeways or nice Western style food stores, box stores? Where do you buy stuff?
Yes, they have their local, the Walmart is here, but then they have their local Super Selectos, which is their grocery store, and it's a standard grocer. They have everything a regular grocery store would, depending on, obviously here we have, coconuts and other fruits and things like that you won't find in Canada or whatever. So there's grocery and hardware and all of that stuff. And then there are big box stores, not like Home Depot and Lowe's, but similar, not actual Home Depot and Lowe's, but similar. Yeah. Large hardware, large home furnishings. They have basically a Costco here as well. It's not Costco, but it's called Price Smart. It's basically the same. So yeah, all of that is in place. Shopping is easy. I hate Amazon, but I love Amazon, because of the ease of just, I even get stuff for my friends down here, like, oh, this necklace or this tool or whatever, easy to put in the luggage. Click Amazon, it shows up. So here, you have to actually go to the stores, which is, when you're doing a remodeling project, as we've been doing, and buying pool fixings, it's a lot of runaround, but it's fun nonetheless.
Let me tell you a story. When I was in Belize during COVID, my wife and I went to several banks and waited hours, you know, a long time, needed all kinds of paperwork, like a notarized copy of my passport. I had my passport right there, but they needed a notarized copy of it. Just all these hoops. And I said, I've got all this money. I want to put money in your bank. And I couldn't open a bank account. What's it like down there? Visa, you know, residency requirements, banking. But you already just told me that real estate, you get the title in your name. That's amazing. So that's one box checked off. What about you? You come there as are you still an American citizen?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
In fact,
do you have a limit of how long you can stay there? What kind of visa do you have?
I don't have one. And I don't think you need one unless you're going to be here for an extended period of time, but then you would just apply for residency. So applying for residency is easy. And I haven't done that because you have to be here at least 50% of the time. And I'm only here about 30% of the time right now. I'm back in Texas and back and forth quite a bit. But if you're here more than 50% of the days, you can apply for residency, and that's a couple-year process.
What do you do for banking? Do you do banking there in El Salvador, or are you?
Yes. So we set up a company here, and banking, that was easy, even though we're gringos, to set up a bank account for the company. Banking in a lot of these countries, most of them, all of them, the ones that are under the thumb of, you know, FACTA and FinCEN, that are with, you know, in bed under the thumb of the IMF, let's just say, even though El Salvador and Bukele are pulling away from them pretty drastically, the banking system, you know, they're on the dollar down here. So the banking system is very much under the thumb of the U.S. regulatory, you know, treasury and regulatory bodies. So gringos walking into a bank, you know, it's hard to open a bank account. If you're just walking in off the street, it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
When you have boots on the ground, you've got roots, it's a lot easier. So we're also setting up companies for clients. You know, you can set up a equivalent of an LLC basically. And a lot of people want to do that. Say, hey, let me, you know, then I can prove I have international business, which some people were saying if they do another lockdown or something crazy, and that there may be if you want to travel internationally, you may have to, the only way to do it is to prove that you have international, I don't know. So this came up in a thread with a friend where he's like, yeah, I want to start a company down there and open a bank account and put $5,000 in it and just no big deal. So that can be done fairly easily. An individual, you can get an individual account too. We are with our several different banks now, actually. So it can be done.
Yeah. What do you use as currency when you go out to dinner, when you buy groceries, when you pay the yardman, or what, you know, when you're doing everyday transaction, what currency are you using?
Dollars, cash is heavy for.
You can use US, they'll take US dollars down there.
Oh yeah, they're on the dollar here. It's a dollar economy. So they have the dollar.
Okay. Well, they're dollar and Bitcoin too.
And Bitcoin, that's right. Yep. So I bought these coconuts yesterday from a roadside vendor, and I noticed he had we accept Bitcoin on the sticker on his cooler. And everybody here has the Chivo wallets. So when they launched Bitcoin here, they started the Chivo wallet, which is the El Salvador wallet, and said, everybody go download this wallet on your phone. And if you do, you get a free, I think it was $30 worth of Bitcoin they gave every citizen. I think it was, it was 20 or 30 bucks, I think.
So are you telling me that if there's a guy selling like coconut juice and coconut by the side of the road, you can pay him in Bitcoin?
All I had was $100 bill, and I bought 12 bucks worth. Hundreds are terrible down here. You don't want to come here with a bunch of hundreds because, you know, you want
20s and ones and fives. Yeah.
You want 20s. 20s are fine, right? But I had 100 was all I had, and I needed some coconuts, and it was right there. And I pulled on. I noticed he had the sticker for we accept Bitcoin. So I'm like, perfect. So and I didn't actually have a cell signal. Well, I had a cell signal, but sometimes depending on the carrier down here, sometimes you can't access Wi-Fi from the cellular if you're, you know, sometimes. And in this moment that happened, and I'm like, it's like no, seriously, my internet's not working. And he's like, oh, no worries, connect to my. So he pulled up his hotspot on his phone. This is a vendor at the side of the road selling coconuts, for God's sakes, and T-shirts. And he pulled up his, the technology, man. It's amazing.
Next time you do that, take an iPhone video of that and send it to me.
I need like somebody with me to do that, right? I was by myself.
Yeah.
I need a third party with a phone to video this whole thing, because it's amazing, right? So they have the Bitcoin infrastructure in place, which is really nice. So, if the dollar breaks or whatever the heck we go through here, I have a feeling they'll just flip a switch down here, and a lot of the economy will be operating on Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have gone to El Salvador because it was MS-13, it was gangs.
Yeah.
So Bukele came in and cleaned the place up. Oh, coconut water from a fresh coconut is so wonderful. I'm amazed they don't sell that here in Hawaii. I guess there's regulations, but
can you get coconuts? Will they sell you just the green coconuts, the fresh cocos?
It not like in Waikiki, no. But
Okay.
in Thailand, Belize, and other places, you just by the side of the road, they keep them on ice, and it's the most refreshing thing, that coconut water is.
We had our trees trimmed. The guy, you pay him $5 a tree, and he shimmies with nothing but a rope.
Yeah.
Shimmies his butt all the way up. I mean, tall. Some of these palm trees are really tall. And we had him clean some of the trees, and he has the rope, and he lowers down a whole big thing of coconuts. And that was when my lady who works on the property said, "Oh, Willie, she gets them ready. She chops the bottom off so they'll set flat, and then chops the top off, but so there's just a little bit of the white film. You can poke your finger through it, and then she loads them up in the fridge and the freezer.
Yeah.
It's so
good. And then you can and eat that tender fruit off the top. That's white fruit.
Best
Okay.
fat in the
So
world.
back to how safe it is.
Back to Bukele.
Is it safe now?
They just did I don't know if it was Gallup or one of these big international polls that came out, statistic deals, and El Salvador was on the same par with Luxembourg. So it's quickly become one of the safest places in the world. Literally. And I mean, I can attest to that. I've been coming down here monthly for a year now, and word on the street. In fact, even if you hear of a crime, it's so loudly publicized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you'll hear of one here or one there, but
yeah,
in a country of 6 million people or whatever, San Salvador is probably one of the safest cities on the planet right now. And it was the murder capital of the world, or top 5 years ago. So yeah, Bukele came in. Basically, they've been plagued for 30 years here by violence, by the gangs, civil war, and then the gangs. And Bukele came in. All the previous politicians were corrupt as you know what. I mean, just awful. Money, literally plane loads of cash leaving the country. Thieves. So this guy comes in, and he's amazing. He's like a Ron Paul and a Donald Trump mixed together, kind of. He's got the oomph to. It was one of the largest incarceration events in history. I don't know the number. I've heard 40,000. I've heard 70,000 people. Unquestionably humane. That's one of the things floating around out there right now. What the left and the media is like, oh, El Salvador, their inhumane treatment of the gang members, and they send the pictures of them all tied together and stuff. And you see the pictures of their sleeping quarters, and they're like metal cots. But anyway, the word on the street here is, even from mothers of gang members who are wrongfully gang members. There was an interview of a lady whose son was apparently wrongfully arrested, wrongfully in jail, and if he
had a tattoo or any indication, they were being a
tattoo on your neck or face.
So what did the mother say about that?
She was still in support of Bukele. She was still in support of the crackdown on the swift, extreme, brutal crackdown on the violent crime. Apparently when Bukele came in, he tried to have some deals with the gangs, like trying to negotiate. And then apparently there was one weekend where they screwed him, and they burned a bus full of people alive. I mean, they killed a whole bunch of people. And then he just dropped the hammer. And I mean, now it's actually kind of refreshing. There was a murderer rapist guy who killed an 11-year-old little girl 3, 4 months ago. He sent in the damn military, sent in like 1,000 troops until they found this guy, dragged his ass into the street, cuffed. It's all publicized and pictures. And look at this. Don't do this in our country. They do the same thing with cell phone thieves. I mean, they don't, process them the same, but there was a thief at a fair who was snatching cell phones, and they had him cuffed. They had him on his knees. They had all the phones around him, and they're publicizing all this. Like, don't do this, or your ass is in trouble. So it's refreshing. Yeah. And it's this pendulum swing that's taking place right now.
And do you think
incredible.
That's here to stay? Do you think there's any chance it could, Bukele just got elected again, even though he was constitutionally ineligible? They overrode that. So
that's correct.
Going to be there.
That's how much everyone loves him here. They love the freedom. They love
they get their country back.
Dude, I go to places where people look at me like they've never seen a white person before. And maybe they haven't, or maybe they're just completely in awe because there are foreigners coming to their country right now to invest and travel, and they're blown. Some of them have never seen white people, especially 6 foot tall, curly hair, blue eye ones. But it's very refreshing. And I think, like Ron Paul said, you can't stop an idea whose time has come. So many words, I'm paraphrasing there. And here the idea, its time has come. It's here. It's like the genie's out of the bottle already. Pandora's box has been opened here. The people have experienced the freedom. The political corruption has all been weeded out. So, yeah, I think it continues. Even if they murder him, I think the guy right behind him is gonna fill in the same footsteps.
Do you talk to people in El Salvador about their perception of the United States? I'm wondering how they perceive the U.S. I mean, I had a good friend in Belize who was just saying, "You guys are crazy. You guys, what are you doing to your country? What are you allowing to be done to your country?"
Most of the people here aren't clued into all of that. Certainly your higher echelon, your wealthier people, your people that are plugged into international things and whatnot, yes. But 95% of the people here, they're still not even really aware of the Bitcoin. They don't even really know what it is. I mean, they're
don't just trying to live their life and feed their family.
I'm seeing what's happening here, and I'm biting my lip, and
okay. So Will, let's say I'm a guy that's in Chicago and it's freezing cold. My dollar isn't buying what it used to. I can't afford, things are more expensive, but I've invested in some Bitcoin. I have some money and I'm seeing where the US is going. There's all these invaders coming in and I want to go to El Salvador. What do you offer? What is Perpetual Assets? I know for years you've been hooking people up with the self-directed IRA, me included. Thank you very much. What are you doing with helping people relocate to El Salvador? What do you offer?
Well, it fit for us quite perfectly because of my background. I'm fluent in Spanish.
Let me interrupt you right there. Yeah. That was one of my questions I forgot to ask. Do you need Spanish? Like, habla español un poco, donde está el baño? I can.
If you can learn.
If you don't speak Spanish, can you get around day to day down there?
You can. People are extremely. El Salvador is widely known now, especially with the Bitcoiners and the gringos coming here. I say gringo affectionately for all extranjeros, foreigners. God, I just totally blanked. What did you ask me? I'm so sorry.
Spanish. Do you need?
Yes.
Need Spanish.
You can get around without it. The people are extremely helpful. Some people do speak English, and we've plugged in with our network of people here. We've got drivers and massage therapists and everything you might need. And a lot of those are bilingual too. We've sought out the bilingual ones to help with our gringo clients. But learning the basics, you can, if you learn bathroom, learn how to ask for the check and menu ordering food is easy because, you can just point,
what is it? I'm hungry. Tengo hambre I'm hungry.
Hambre. Tengo hambre. Yeah.
Tengo hambre. It's coming back to me. See, I used to conjugate verbs. Tengo, tenemos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's also Google Translate too.
Which my partner Gus has become a master with, and he's having complete. In fact, his girlfriend, the guy who was leading our renovations down here, is Argentine, doesn't speak English, and he and Gus have been, buddies and full communication via the phone. It's talking into it and everything.
So how do people go about it? What services do you offer? I guess someone should go down there and, stay in a hotel and check it out before they buy something. But
yes, that's generally what you want to do, especially in a foreign
take an
country you've
extended
never been to.
vacation, drive around and see how you feel.
Yep, you can do that. I fully recommend. That's what I tell people first thing. Hey, when can you come? When can you come? And I'm down every month, so I send people my dates and say, hey, if you can overlap when I'm down, that's awesome. We can meet up and I can, do whatever we need to do. But for those looking for real estate specifically, we obviously offer the language translation services, and we are dialed in now with attorneys that are bilingual, and so you really don't even. But that is helpful, especially for connecting with, if I have a client who buys this mini hotel next door and wants to renovate it and then hire staff and market it and have it as a functioning hotel, you're going to need staff, which we can connect you with. We've got all the people. Property search consultation based on clients' needs. We've learned the area pretty well and valuations, and we can help kind of hone in. Do you want a commodity productive farm, 15 acres down by the ocean that's
grow coffee, bananas?
Coffee's up at elevation. Yeah, you could do a coffee farm and then you have income and you own the commodity rich land. Same with the coastal farms that are in the coastal valley. They're not on the ocean, but and every fruit imaginable you can grow there, right? So you could do a commodity farm. You could buy a piece of land cheap somewhere in an up and coming area in the middle of nowhere and just wait. I mean, you could. I mean, geez, you could buy oceanfront property. You could go for an Airbnb. There's all kinds of things, right? So we kind of help hone that in. Obviously, all the documentation, offers, final closing, all the contractual stuff. There's no the real estate system here is very wild west. There's no licensing, formal licensing regulation, so anybody can be an agent, and there's no escrow, there's no MLS, so it's a different, it's navigating a pretty unique environment, which we help with.
You're going to need someone to help you.
Yes, gringos absolutely need somebody to help them do this. I mean, you can do. I did it myself. You can do it yourself, but why do that?
Let's say somebody has, okay, let's just wild hypothetical here. I'm not going to do this, but let's say, okay, I just became a crypto millionaire and I came to you and said, Will there, I want to buy a property, like $1 million property. I want to buy it private sale, Bitcoin. I'll transmit $1 million worth of cryptos. What could you get me? Could you do that? What kind of place could you get me? How would that work?
100%. And even if we couldn't, let's say you fell in love with XYZ property and the seller, we couldn't get him to accept Bitcoin. Guess who can? You can send us the Bitcoin, perpetual assets. We swap it right into USD and wire we can actually, for clients that know us and trust us, they'll probably want to use our bank account here. Wire us the money so me, you trust me, you've wired me money before, you've done business with me before, my reputation is worth
100%. I
So
took
a
large chunk of my 401k out and sent it to Will, and it's now back in my possession in a private wallet and worth 5 times, about 5 times what it was.
Let's see what happens here in the next few months, buddy.
How do people get a hold of you?
Perpetualassets.com is the website, and then we got a phone number up there, and contact us and emailed on there. You can.
What you need to do is you need to put on a conference down there.
I thought about it.
Put on a get together.
Yes.
a Bitcoin, we could get Bix to go down
Yeah.
and
I mean, I've
get
thought
Gus.
about
I mean,
this. This is Gus is just in Acapulco with Jeff Berwick speaking yesterday. So we could get Berwick here, Bix, you, a handful of other friends in the space. And then
just hanging out with Berwick and Gus alone.
Can you imagine?
Worth having a few drinks with them. And Gus Unfiltered is just hilarious. It is. Yeah.
He's quite entertaining when he's
Maybe
on point.
Future Forecasting Group, we've been toying with the idea of having a conference combining cryptocurrency and remote viewing and getting some luminary people. We should do that down in El Salvador, maybe.
I love that idea.
Find it there. We could get a hotel and get a ballroom probably pretty reasonably, and
everything's close to the international airport. I mean, not everything, but everything in this part of the country is.
Yeah. How do you fly? Do you fly from Miami? Can you fly from Miami?
I fly Houston. I'm in Texas. I'm in Central Texas. So I'm about an hour. I live about an hour from Austin. So I'm waiting for an Austin direct flight. I'm told it's in the works because there's a Bitcoin embassy in Austin and there's a big Bitcoin embassy here. But there's a direct flight from Houston, 2.5 hour flight. $300, like easy, cheap. You're here in 2.5 hours. And then our place, right, we're 40 minutes from the airport. The city is 30-40 minutes from the airport. I mean, so you're hard pressed to have to go an hour and a half or two from the airport. And if you're going to the other side of the country, yes, and there's beauty over there too, but this core central area is pretty amazing. I mean, in 30 minutes from here, I can drive up and be at 6,000 feet elevation, and it changes from 90 degrees to 65 degrees in 30 minutes.
You can get nice and cool. Yeah. Is it hot there? It's pretty hot and humid in the summer there.
So there's a rainy season and a dry season. Right now we're in dry season, as you can tell on my dead lawn.
Yeah.
The sprinklers are part of our second renovation project. It'll be whenever that is. The dry season it just started. It starts in like December, January, and then it's dry until May, June, and then it rains May, June, all the way through the end of the year. The temperature here by the coast is always the same. Your highs are in the high 80s, sometimes in the low to mid 90s when a heat wave comes through. This week, we'll be 95 tomorrow for the next couple of days. But then overnight it's 75, so it cools off. Your pool stays cool. Right before this interview, I went poolside working. Gets a little hot out here, so I'll dip in the pool, and the pool stays cool. It's less humid this time of year during the dry season. It's really, they call it the summer. They think it's hotter, but I'm like, you guys are used to the humidity because without the humidity, it's really not as bad. But when now in the rainy season with the humidity, you also get more cloud coverage. And you get rain that cools it down. So, but you're pretty much always 80s down here at the coast.
Oh, that's good. I hate to say this, but I think America is not going to recover. I don't think there's any way out for America. Just two things. The debt is 34 trillion. It's going to be 35 trillion in a month or two. It's just unsustainable. And the immigration. Do you think America's can recover? I talked to Gus about this, and Gus said America's in tyranny already. Didn't he? He said that to you. He said, "Will, we're in tyranny."
Yeah.
Man, I don't want to get too downer and too heavy, but
it's not looking good, man. It is not looking good, and I think they're regarding the immigration. And then the what appear to be sleeper cells, all of these military aged men. These are not, if you really go and look at the border situation, there's people on Twitter with videos,
it's young fighting age.
These are not immigrants. I'm sorry. These are not women and children fleeing war torn or poverty stricken environment. They're all men, all of them. It's like, Africans and Indians and Central
Pakistanis,
Americans.
sub-Saharan Africans,
Somebody, in fact,
Chinese.
Berwick posted a thing on Twitter a couple of days ago that somebody, a friend of his or whatever, sent him from the San Salvador airport. And I recognized the airport because there was a Cadejo brewery sign, which is a local brewery. I was like, that's San Salvador airport. And it's a video of, geez, I don't know, a couple hundred African men. And Berwick said, yes, so they flew them in to San Salvador from Africa. And now they're putting them on a special commuter flight or whatever to somewhere in northern Mexico or whatever.
Somebody's paying, in each one of these guys that gets taken across the border, they're paying the coyotes, the cartels, $10,000 each. Yeah. So this is big money.
And they're giving them credit cards with money.
Credit cards, phones. Yeah.
Well, Soros.
Clothes,
it's
backpacks.
the same. It's got to be the same Soros and friends, same people who funded BLM and the same people who put stacks of bricks at right before there was going to be a BLM protest or whatever. You know, it's unbelievable, man. Yeah.
I had a great experience with you setting up my self-directed IRA. Thank you, Will. I did that in 2018. It's paid off very well. So if any of you need to secure your financial future, I highly recommend getting a hold of Will and Gus at Perpetual Assets. They'll make the LLC for you. They'll do all the paperwork. You transmit the money to them. They buy the cryptos for you. They put it in your wallet. So it's not only self-directed, it is self-custodial. Is you have a legitimate US government approved individual retirement account that's on your own wallet in your own safe. You can't beat that. So, and now Will help you if you want to move to El Salvador. So get a hold of him. Great catching up with you, Will. Enjoy your evening after it's late afternoon there now. I'm recording this 11 o'clock. So it's like 4:30 going on.
3:50. We're Central Time here, so 3:13. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Beautiful day, beautiful compound. Yeah. I may have to come down and visit you.
Come on, brother. Come on. The door's wide open. We got renovated casitas, one of them with your name on it. So
where's Gus right now?
He is flying as we speak, I think, or he was just in Mexico at an Acapulco. He was flying to Mexico City. I think he's on his way back to Florida today. So,
well, it's a beautiful day in Hawaii, but
always
it's going to be an interesting year. Hang on tight. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Will. We'll check in again soon. Always great to talk with you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Take care.